Can I see you a minute, please?
¿Dónde está papi? ¿A dónde 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 está papi?
Welcome to the Monday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Monday, with the exception of that asshole who just came into chat. What the fuck was that all about? Thank you, Michael Hasser. Yeah, if they come in again, like, I'm just gonna ban them. The fuck? What's happening already? Hey, Echo Rested Dragon. How's it going? It looks like the circus ended early. The circus ended real early today. Hello, person that seems to have been banned in other places. Wow. Yikes. Alright, folks. We definitely have quite a few things to cover. We'll see how much we can get through. Ali with the 11 biddies, thank you so much. Yes, subscribe to the YouTubes. Click the link and subscribe to the YouTubes. Whew, alright. Jeez. Alright. We definitely have to Be a bit more mindful in the chat today. Looks like the clowns are starting to appear early. Oh man. All right. We do have quite the amount of things to talk about, so I guess we should get started. Let's do some clips first, and then we'll move on to some headlines, and then like the final story, yeah? Let me make sure everything's good. All right. Let's talk about RFK. Actually, no, we have a I don't think I covered this one. I don't think I covered this one. So I guess we should start with this clip.
You really have to wonder. In fact, you know, if we would have said 3 weeks ago, Blake, if we would have said that Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know.
That's because it's the opposite, actually. It's the opposite, actually. That was their point.
You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously.
Says the person who has who doesn't have the brain power to be taken seriously. Oh man, like that statement is pretty fucking rich coming from Charlie Kirk. But no, someone like Justice Ketanji Brown is more than qualified, okay? She didn't just get there because she was black. Okay? She has ample qualifications for her to be in the position that she is in.
You had to go steal a white person's slot to go.
And there it is. So basically, like, what affirmative action means to these people is that, like, there are black people stealing white people's spot. Because this is about white supremacy. That's what this guy believes in.
Will be taken somewhat seriously. Play cut 52.
But I rise today as a clear recipient of affirmative action, and particularly in higher education. I may have been admitted on affirmative action, both in terms of being a woman and a woman of color, but I can declare that I did not graduate on affirmative action. This is my personal story.
In other words, she did all the qualifications and she went through all the curriculum just like anybody else. So in other words, she did have the brain capacity to be taken seriously, which is why she graduated.
I hear because of action affirmative. She can't even say that. We know. It's very obvious to us that you were not smart enough to be able to get in on your own.
That's not what affirmative action means, by the way. Okay? And like, first of all, okay, if you don't meet the qualifications to be admitted to the university, you're not getting in. It doesn't really matter. Okay? So the way he's positioning this is it's as if like any random like person of color just automatically has to be chosen regardless of what their qualifications are. That's not how that works. That's not how that works at all.
Get in on your own. I couldn't make it on my own, so I needed to take opportunities from someone on your own.
Right, but why though?
It's very obvious to us that you were not smart enough to be able to get in on your own.
So again, that's not how it works. Or how it worked. You still had to meet the qualifications. Boebert failed GED twice. And like if that's the case, if you were talking about like, oh, people not being smart enough to get there on their own, then why not talk about like legacy invites? Because if you're well connected enough, heck, it doesn't even matter if you do well. You could still stumble your way through an Ivy League school if you are well connected. So don't talk to me like it's all it is just fucking racism. That's what it is. In my country, we don't really have quotas. It's not really a quota per se. There's no quota necessarily. But the way I understand how it works is that affirmative action was designed to at least increase, not just like, yeah, there you go. Alio's posting it. Not just an educational, but like workplace opportunities for underrepresented people. It's not just black people, okay? But the point being is that you still need to meet those qualifications.
I couldn't make it on my own, so I needed to take opportunities from someone more deserving.
That's not what that means. More deserving means that she didn't have the ability, or she didn't have the whatever GPA or whatever, metrics needed to get in there in the first place. You still need that. You still need that. You still need the GPA requirements. You still need the test requirements. That didn't go away. The GOP is trying to erase affirmative action in the corporate world now. Not surprised. It's not going to stop there. Yeah, with the exception, they ended affirmative action for the higher education with the exception of military. I wonder why. Well, they tell you, because the military requires, for a good, cohesive, and strong force, they require diversity. And that's what makes, in their opinion, a part of our military's like strength and the necessity to have cohesion. Diversity is incredibly important, which is why they made an exception, which, if that's the case, it's almost like diversity is actually pretty good. Wolfglen, how's it going? How about they do away with legacy admissions? Yeah, they should do that. They absolutely should. That's what I meant, not legacy. Did I say legacy admission? I'm pretty sure I said something else. I'm pretty sure I said something else, but whatever. That's what I meant. Legacy admissions. Like, if you want to talk about like literally not needing the requirements, legacy admissions. If you are well connected, you can stumble your way through an Ivy League school if you're well connected and wealthy enough. Why do you think diversity is important? I just told you. If you weren't listening, that's not my fault. Diversity is incredibly important because it, first of all, it reduces racism. It increases cohesion. It increases the strength between people. Okay?
This is how arrogant Joy Reid and Ketanji Brown Jackson and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee are. They're so narcissistic, they think this is...
Says the narcissist. And first of all, I guess in addition to, he never actually played any other clips other than the Sarah Lee clip.
Persuasive. They think we're like, oh, of course. That's why we need affirmative action. Because you have impressed us with your brilliance.
I mean, yeah, with Ketanji Brown, yeah, I mean, she's pretty fucking qualified.
Of course. Oh no, imagine the world without Joy Reid. Imagine the world without Sheila Jackson Lee.
Imagine a world without Charlie Kirk. Oh man, actually, unironically, a net good. A net good.
Or Michelle Obama. Or Ketanji Brown Jackson. They think this is persuasive.
Good thing Kirk does not get money from right wing, right? Oh, wait. Hello, person from 2 days. Hello, 2-day-old account. Man, the circus really did end early today.
They think as they kind of now reveal that I'm only here because of anti-white, anti-Asian forced discrimination.
What? Oh, man. Okay. Kirk is a hypocrite? Yeah, probably.
Policies. That turned me into a bitter, resentful activist that hates white people, honestly, through our policies.
Through our policies. What policies exactly? Yeah, 2 days. So, like, if you think that you're going to come in here and troll, you best just go somewhere else. I still have a hard time believing Kirk is only 29. This guy is only 29. I'm older than him. I'm older than him. Kirk did not graduate college. Yeah, that's pretty rich coming from somebody who didn't even graduate college. Whilst all the people that he mentioned, whilst all the people that he did mention graduated college, all got a higher education. What an absolute fucking clown. All right. So that's clip number 1. And Ben Shapiro is 39? Okay, he's older than me. Still too young to be espousing all this nonsense. Like, you should know better. But yeah, anyways, of course they know better. This is all propaganda. Far-right propaganda. Anywho, the point being is that, dude's a racist. I will be 39 this month. You will be the same, or you are almost the same age as Ben Shapiro. Congratulations? Oh man.
And we need to talk about bioweapons.
All right, hold on. Whoa. All right. Imagine being the same age as Ben Shapiro and Ben Shapiro having the takes that he does. '40s are the fun decade. Well, I guess we'll find out when I guess I'll find out when I get there, yeah? It's not too long. I heard he has a bad opinion about Islam. He has a bad opinion about a lot of things, okay? Like, Ben Shapiro has a lot of bad opinions. Most of them opinions because he has no real facts behind them. But yeah, Ben Shapiro has a lot of bad opinions. All right, so like to the people who are still pushing RFK Jr., remember how we went over like an article about him being like kind of like tied to like this other person who is incredibly anti-Semitic? Yeah, remember that article we did like a couple of weeks ago? Yeah. Let's have a listen, okay? Like, no, let's just RFK Jr. Let's just let him talk, okay? Let's just let him talk.
And we need to talk about bioweapons. Well, I know a lot now about bioweapons because I've been doing a book on it for the past 2.5 years, and you know, the technology that we now have to develop these microbes, we've put hundreds of millions of dollars into ethnically targeted microbes.
So we've diverted hundreds of millions of dollars to ethnically targeted micro what?
Hundreds of millions of dollars into ethnically targeted microbes.
Microbes. Yeah, no such thing, okay? No such thing. I'm completely serious. American politics is funny. Funny is not the word I would use. Depressing, horrifying, tiring, angering. Those would probably be better words for describing American politics. Funny is not one of them. Cosmic Seeking, how's it going? He is an asshole. He is an asshole. Moronic is another word I would use to describe American politics. Two old men fighting and giving promises that will never happen. Well, it's not just two old men, right? It's not just two old men. Like that isn't like the summary of American politics. RFK Jr. is racist and has very little chance of winning presidency. Yeah, thankfully he does. I don't even know if he's gonna get like out much on the primary. But yeah, he's completely delusional. Anyways,
the Chinese have done the same thing. In fact,
the Chinese have done the same thing. There's no evidence that there's like ethnically targeting microbes.
There's an argument that it is ethnically targeted.
So now he's going into like complete delusion, like La La Land. Dude, the dude like aimed for like the moon and is now out in Pluto. I actually, never mind. The guy is right now not even in the same galaxy of reality. Okay, so right off the bat, the statement on its face, COVID-19 is, one could make an argument, is ethnically targeted, is completely false on its face. There's no evidence to suggest that COVID was bioengineered to be ethnically targeting, because that's the implication of what he's talking about. I've seen him a lot on my FY page in Kurdistan. If he takes out the troops in Iran, Shia Iraq will end us a key ally of the U.S. Who, RFK? Well, I don't know, but like, there's no reason to be paying attention to this guy. Well, Pluto isn't even a planet anymore, so pretty close. Oh man, true. Sad to say, I'm from Massachusetts. The Kennedy family has bad luck. The cousins even say so. Yeah, I think another Kennedy came out saying that she disavows these statements, but it doesn't matter. We're talking about this particular Kennedy anyways. No, COVID-19 is not ethnically targeted.
COVID-19 attacks certain races disproportionately.
Why though? That statement may be the case. That statement may be the case. That COVID-19 may have affected certain groups disproportionately. Why? Because the implication he just gave like a little second ago was that it was some kind of like bioengineered, ethically targeting disease. Is it because, well, maybe some groups, say people of color, are disproportionately more poor, have less access to health care? That's an example. That might be an explanation. Wait, is he saying COVID is racist? No. I mean, I guess that's one way of reinterpreting that. Another way of reinterpreting it is that he thinks that COVID is a bioweapon because he started off, like this segment started off with him talking about bioweapons. Basically the implication is that COVID is a bioengineered disease designed to ethnically target certain people. Anyways.
The races that are most immune to COVID-19 are because of the structure of the genetic structure.
You can tell, like, the guy over here, the guy in, like, the background to his right, the guy to the background on his right, he's given this look like, wait, what did this guy just say?
Genetic differentials among different races of the receptors of the ACE2 receptor. COVID-19 is targeted to attack Caucasians and
so he's basically saying COVID is targeted as if it was done on purpose to attack Caucasians
and black people. The people who are most immune are Ashkenazi Jews,
which is, oh boy, oof, that's a rough one. So yeah, we're going into like Alex Jones, like Jewish question, fucking anti-Semitism, real fast. We started talking about like tinfoil hat shit about fucking like targeted biological warfare to like now we're just gonna talk about like the Jewish question. All right, we're just gonna go out and say it. COVID-19 was bioengineered, and of course you can't, like, we're gonna leave out who bioengineered it. It's just kind of floating around there, but it just so happens that it doesn't affect or doesn't target Ashkenazi Jews. I'm okay, dude. Whatever, bro. This is some fucking like Jewish questioned anti-Semitism. So George has been really busy. Didn't India have the most cases? I don't know who had the most cases. Probably by raw numbers, maybe. I thought we did. I thought the U.S. had the most numbers. Or is it the most numbers per capita? I don't know.
And Chinese.
Oh, and Chinese. Oh, gotcha. Okay. So right off the bat, we have anti-Semitic, like an anti-Semitic conspiracy with xenophobia. We get a twofer of the racisms.
But we don't know whether it was deliberately targeted.
And like the guy's reaction too, like he tells it all. He's like gave a small smirk, like, what? Megyn Kelly said she and Trump had a private conversation this weekend at TPUSA and that all nonsense between us is under the bridge. Why am I not surprised? If you feel useless, no people support him. True. How's it going, Bipedal Meatbag?
That or not, but there are papers out there that show the racial and ethnic differential impact to that. We do know that
That does not mean COVID-19 was some kind of like bioweapon, dude. Okay? That's not what that means. There are many different reasons why COVID-19 might have disproportionately impacted certain groups of people. What was their health plan like? If you're in the USA, there was none. If you're in a country that has a universal healthcare system, you might have had a different outcome. Just a bit of eugenics, and this is starting to sound like a legit ramble. It is a legit ramble from a deeply unserious person. It is a legit ramble from a deeply unserious person who's just spreading Nazi shit. Because it's too ingrained and it's too intertwined with all his like anti-vax bullshit. So yeah, this is just like delusional dribble. First rule of bioweapons, have an antidote before you release it. Right. I know about the U.S. healthcare system. Let's say something normal, broken arm. How much will you usually pay? I don't know. It depends. Do you have insurance or not? How much is that insurance going to pay? Is it going to cover you? Because like something like even if you have insurance, just your presence at the emergency room might be $500 or more. Okay. Even after your insurance does what it needs to do and covers what they cover, you still might end up with a $500 emergency room bill. Maybe, depending on where you are. Depending on if you have insurance, depending on how much and what your insurance covers, depending on the hospital, like Bipedal Meatbag said. Hey, Heat, how's it going? I lurketh. The Trump and his pundits helped kill over 700,000 people to COVID. Yeah, we lost what? No, we lost more than 1 million, didn't we? How many people died here? COVID. Oh, I guess you mean like during his term? I think we're at 1,134,710 as total. Bad enough that if somebody, yeah, exactly. If somebody is hurt, someone will tell you not to call an ambulance. Yeah, like it is cheaper to find, like if you're not dying, it is cheaper to find an Uber and get a ride to the hospital that way. I was in the emergency room for 5 hours, thought I had a stroke just from my first case of vertigo. The bill is $14,000 I will pay due to deductibles and co-insurance about $4,000. That's wild. That's criminal. That's criminal. But yeah, so again, my point being is that we don't know what may have been the situation or what the factors are that may have led to disproportionate outcomes for different groups. And I have really good insurance. Yikes. That's how you know, like, this whole, like, fucking healthcare insurance is just a fucking racket. It's bullshit. I work in the medical field? Jeez. And you still ended up with a $4,000 bill? That's bullshit. The US is only 4% of the population, but has 18% of COVID deaths. Jesus. Rubstroll, thank you for the follow. No, it's just a plan that I purchased? Gotcha. Jeez.
Chinese are spending hundreds of millions of dollars developing ethnic bioweapons, and we are developing ethnic bioweapons. That's where all of those...
No evidence for that. We are developing ethnic bioweapons? Where's the source on that?
Labs in the Ukraine are about, they're collecting Russian DNA, they're collecting Chinese DNA.
What are you on about? You think the war in Ukraine is to collect Russian DNA? To then what? Develop a bioweapon to wipe out? What are you on about, dude? Actually delusional rambling. And these are, and like, this is the person that some of these pundits, including some fake left pundits, are pushing? Really? People like fucking Breaking Points and whatnot? Seriously? Thought experiment. Is there genetic markers for being a politician? Why would you cause a war for DNA? None of it makes sense, okay? There's no logic here. It doesn't make any sense.
No, we can target people by race.
Wait, but I thought you said they were ethnically developing. Wait. I thought you said they were they were developing for like specific ethnic groups. Now it's by race? Because wouldn't, like... I mean, like, Ukrainians and Russians are technically the same race, are they not? They're just different ethnic. There's just different ethnic groups, right? This is what I mean by funny, I guess. Slavic. There you go. Apparently, there's genetic markers for cops being too allergic to fentanyl. True. Deeply, deeply unserious. Nobody should... Like, why are people even, like, platforming this guy without doing their due diligence? Shame on all these people. Shame on them for fucking, like, hosting this guy. Shame on them. Why even cause it war? Croatia's in NATO, they're also Slavic. Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense because there's no sense there. They had said something about autism and vaccines. I heard that pisses me off. Yeah, they said something to that effect too. I think he tried to make like the classic causation versus correlation or something like that. Where he said something to the effect of like, oh, well, vaccination rates are up and autism rates are also up, so obviously it's the vaccine. Like, bro, are you fucking kidding me? No one running for president should be taken seriously on either side. Yeah, but some are more disturbing than others, and some are more concerning than others, and some are even just downright dangerous. He falls into the category of like downright dangerous in his own right. I'm mostly open-minded. All right, next clip. Another absolute fucking clown. 90s a lot were not diagnosed. Yeah, I mean, like, that's what I'm saying. It could be literally, like, it could just be, like, the explanation is like, it's just that simple. It's that simple. The whole, like, autism caused by vaccine thing has been, like, long debunked. Like, we've moved on from this. This was, like, some one fucking asshole that I can't remember, who started, like, pushing this shit. Some pseudo fucking, like, scientist started pushing this fucking vaccine causes autism shit in, like, I want to say the 80s. So yeah, that's kind of like where this is coming from, but it's nonsense. And yet here we are in the year of our Lord 2023, with a presidential candidate spewing this garbage. If you read it on Facebook, it has to be true. Those are the rules. Listen, those are the rules. I don't make the rules. Coming from someone who was diagnosed at 38. Ah, 37. Yeah, I mean, like, the timeline kind of fits, right? It was one MD in UK that started this whole thing with the vaccine. Yeah. I can't remember his name though. A month before my 38th birthday. Oh shit, that means this was recent. And yet we still have people make this bullshit. Continue to peddle this bullshit. Which is like, which can just be something as, yeah, well, we just didn't diagnose people. I mean, that's a pretty plausible explanation. I mean, we just have an example, just like an anecdotal example. Thank you, Echo Rest Dragon. But yeah, it's just that simple. Asperger's syndrome is literally Nazi propaganda. Is that why they like commonly use that slur? Especially women and other minorities. Yep. That makes sense.
Well, Joe Biden.
Oh, hey, hold on. So speaking of deeply, deeply unserious people, here we have Jimmy Dore talking about how Biden somehow is a bigger fascist than Trump. Listen, Biden is a lot of things. Biden is cringe as fuck. Biden is incredibly frustrating. Biden is beholden to capitalism. Biden defends capitalism. Biden is not doing everything he can to make this a better place for Americans. Biden has failed numerous occasions. The one that comes to the one that comes to mind is the student debt relief. Complete faceplant. What about the environmental promises? Why are we still giving more permits to drill more oil? Why did he capitulate to that fossil fuel company and gave them everything that they wanted? I'm concerned for your all's safety. All the three main electors are complete idiots. Wait, there's three of them? There's only two. There's only two. Jimmy in a fedora, super dumbass mode. Oh man, you should have seen the picture of Sam Cedar, with Sam Cedar bringing in his fedora, to challenge Jimmy Dore. Rail workers, yes, the rail work strike, yes. That's another perfect example of where Joe Biden and the Democrats have fallen completely face first. But to say that Joe Biden is a bigger fascist than Trump is just freaking ludicrous, okay? It's delusional. And the last story of the stream, the main story of the stream, will kind of put everything to, put everything neatly together. AOC and Bernie have endorsed Biden. Yeah, which I would say that they could have. My criticism is that they could have at least attempted to put some. They could have at least attempted to negotiate some assurances. Being as they are progressive powerhouses, especially like Bernie Sanders and AOC. I mean, like, it would have been nice if, like, maybe they could have gotten some, like, a progressive, like, assurances by saying, like, hey, you know, if you advocate for, I don't know, whatever, but put like X policy. Let's say like, listen, we're gonna give you our endorsement, okay? But you should fight for whatever, Medicare for all, or you should fight for raising the minimum wage, or you should fight for actually you know, delivering on the promise of student debt, whatever it is, right? It's something. Jesus Christ, that would have been an ideal scenario instead of just a blank endorsement. I think Bernie is afraid of another 2016. Rightfully so. I get that. Rightfully so. I understand that. I understand that argument. And quite frankly, I'm of that mindset too. But like, it doesn't have to be a public feud. It doesn't have to be a public feud. It could be, you know, negotiations. It doesn't have to be like that. But that's just my opinion. Ali with another 11 biddies. Thank you. Well, in good news, Trump isn't getting any new supporters. That's good. So it all depends on whether or not, I guess it all depends on how many, like, how many Democrats show up, right? All of us are being held hostage by a system that no longer works for the people. Like, what are we supposed to do? What we can. I guess that means that Bernie is not running. Probably a good thing. Yeah, like, I don't think Bernie was going to run. I'm going to be honest. I don't think Bernie was going to run. I think he gave it his best in 2016 and 2020, but I think he's done. In terms of, like, presidential runs, he's not going to. I doubt it. It would shock me if Bernie Sanders like just decided out of the blue to join the fight. But even then, like, maybe he could have just like gone to Biden, you know, privately and have been like, "Look, bro, I could run. I could primary you." Or we could get some like assurances that you're going to work on whatever policy. And not only will I not run, but I'll throw my endorsement behind you. No, and not make it like a public spectacle of it. Just make like a private like deal. The same goes for AOC, right? Because she's, you know, pretty freaking popular. Maybe he did. Yeah, well, that's also a good point. Maybe I'm just talking shit. And who knows? Maybe I'm just talking shit and maybe something already did go down. Who knows? You're right. All speculation, to be quite frank. I would enjoy Bernie and AOC, or AOC as a vice president. Maybe, but we definitely need a progressive candidate. We need a strong progressive candidate, because we don't have one right now. We do not have one right now. And DNC does help with the candidate. Well, yeah, they de facto, like, run the whole thing. Alright, Jimmy Dore, let's get into it. Tell me how Joe Biden is more of a fascist than Trump, okay? Is Kamala okay? I forgot about her. I'm gonna be honest. I forgot about her. They've already decided there won't be primary debates. Yep. We don't usually see much of VPs. True. I have a question. Would you rather have a multi-party state or an American-style one? I mean, it is to my understanding that probably multi-party, like parliamentary kind of systems are a little bit better. They have their own problems, but like two-party system kind of has gotten us to the point where we are, and I don't know. I don't know if this is like sustainable. Or democratic, really. So yeah, I would probably want more of a parliamentary style system where there's more political parties, than one where you're basically pigeonholed into choosing one or the other. Mike Pence might not even qualify for the first debate. Kamala's still alive? Yes, she's still VP. Welcome, Walter. How's it going? At this rate, it'll be DeSantis debating himself and he'll still lose. Well, he'll debate Trump. He'll debate Trump. Who's Kamala? The vice president. Alright, Jimmy Dore. Come on, tell me how Biden is more fascist than Trump. Let's hear it.
Well, Joe Biden is a bigger fascist than Donald Trump, and I'll debate anybody on that. That's just a fact.
That's not just a fact, dude. You're just saying it. Oh, Chris Christie qualified? Trump is not attending debates, although that might change for the first debate. Oh, really? He said he's not going to participate in debates? That's hilarious. All right, so right off the bat, like 7 seconds in, and he's just like saying things. Joe Biden is a bigger fascist than Trump, and that's just a fact. Well, no, you have to substantiate that shit. He'll be too busy with trials. Yeah, and what, in a month? In a month or so? He might be facing more charges. Who knows?
And so when people say that Joe Biden is some kind of an antidote to Donald Trump, Joe Biden is worse.
He's not an antidote to Trump, dude. Joe Biden is not an antidote to Trump by any stretch of the imagination. Like, he's literally just making shit up. Jimmy Dore's very clickbaiting. Yeah, the DeSantis, DeSantis is a massive political masochist. He might seem to get off on his numbers plummeting. Maybe. Welcome, Conscious Canuck. I think both should not be candidates. Well, I think so too. But here we are. Biden's awful. Trump is demonstrably worse. Yeah, that's like pretty much as where not only just like people on the left, but like generally like even like normies are kind of just like we all understand this. We all understand this. Like, yeah, dude, Biden's awful, but Trump is like demonstrably worse. And like to say that Biden is a bigger fascist than Trump, and then to state that as fact is just asinine. Does he think that people wanted Biden? We wanted Biden because less of two evils. Right, we wanted Biden because we know the kind of fucking danger that Trump poses. Which again will kind of, you know, tie all of this nicely at the end in the main story. But yeah. Is anyone complaining to the DNC? Yeah, didn't we have protests? Didn't we have protests at the DNC? When like I think it was like the 2016 and 2020 primaries were happening? I'm pretty sure there was protests at the DNC.
He's a worse president than Donald Trump. And again,
What does that even mean? He's a worse president than Trump. By what metric?
by any metric, he is worse.
Which one, bro?
Yeah, one thing I will tell people is that
Right, I don't think the Dems treat Biden the same way they treat Trump. Right, like the way he like phrased that, like as if Biden is an antidote to Trump. No, bro. No. 2020 was weird because of COVID. Yes. Oh man, I'm pretty sure I remember seeing protests at the DNC. Or am I just getting this wrong? Oh yeah, look. So much has happened, it's hard to keep up. Yeah, I remember. There you go, there's your dab. Yeah, 2016. Yep. This is in 2016. And I knew I remember protests from like one of those or both of those elections.
just because you can dislike Donald Trump, but just because you dislike him doesn't mean he colluded with Russia.
That's right.
Wait, what is wait, whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa. How is Biden a bigger fascist than Trump? That was the claim. That was a pretty fucking big claim. And we're just gonna waltz past that by that to like the whole like Russia Gate or whatever bullshit. Jesus. And 2020 protests for different reasons. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, the 2016 and 2020 were for specifically against the DNC. How do you remember stuff that happened years ago? Because it's I'm politically inclined. So yeah, I've had to remember these things for as long as I've been like more politically active. So yeah, all of these things that involve politics, I try to remember as much of these incidents and events that are important. Out of the hospice and aged politicians, we need leaders who are going to be alive long enough to see the long-term consequences of their decisions. I'm all for heeding the wisdom of age and experience. They don't need to be our leaders, though. Yep, that's a good point. Yeah, Dora did work for TYT. If you had to choose two candidates, who will you choose? I don't know. I don't know who's available out of these candidates that one could pull. But someone like a younger Bernie Sanders. I mean, like AOC is like the closest. Who kind of has the same. Who kind of has like the same politics. And moves in that same kind of vein. But who I don't know if she's gonna plan on running. What happened to Jimmy Dore? Looks older or something? Well, yeah, this is your brain on conservatism just like melted him. We're watching like the decline of Jimmy Dore in real time because like he's embracing like all these like right wing conspiracy theories and politics. That's what happens. I'm kidding. I actually don't know. I actually don't know. Any human? I don't know. Like, that's kind of vague. Could they even run for president? I don't know. What are the qualifications? Allegedly, he drinks a lot. It wouldn't be surprising. In comparison to this picture from, what, 2016? That was not that long ago. That was not that long ago. That's less than 10 years ago. That's 8. I want to say 7 years ago. Wow. Is that picture from 2016? Huh. Outside of politics, are you concerned that anti-Semitism is slowly rising up in Germany? It's rising in a lot of places, but yes, it's definitely concerning, especially with the AFD's recent surge. Especially with the recent surge of the AFD. That's how he looked when he spit on Alex Jones. When was that? How long ago was that? Oh shit. Chat. That was at the 26th RNC. Oh, okay, so it was. Wow. I just realized. Jimmy Dore has the same birthday as me. Alright, well, time to end stream, guys. It was a great stream. Everybody have a good day. And I will now be quitting politics forever. No, I'm just kidding. I like Newsom for president. At the moment, he's massive corrupt. He's a massive corrupt corpus, but he has the right rhetoric for the moment, and he can be coerced by public opinion. Honestly, I can't wait till 2032 for a more progressive candidate. I mean, like, I don't know, 2032. What about 2028? 2028 is going to be a more open field, if you ask me. I'm Islamist, so conservative. Yeah, conservatism is like brainworms, dude. Conservatism, it's just not good. Okay? It just rots the human soul. Okay? That's what it does. If Newsom got in, he'd be an 8-year president. Really? I don't know. Conservatism works here, i.e., conservatism works for me. That's the way I interpret it. There's also the 26th of July movement that's kind of beginning the beginning of the Cuban Revolution, like Castro's revolution. All right, I'm back to streaming politics. Man, I can't believe that this guy was born this guy was born the same day. Why do I have to share a birthday with this asshole? Anyways.
It's just like,
and if they can do that to a president of the United States, they'll do that to anybody. They did that in lieu of killing him, like they did to Kennedy. They couldn't discredit Kennedy like that, so they just killed him.
What? So they couldn't wait. We're comparing Donald Trump to John F. Kennedy. And the logic here, or I guess lack thereof, is because we were able to discredit Trump with the Russia story, but like that didn't really happen, right? Because like a bunch of people around Trump went down for this shit. A bunch of people. I share a birthday with the Virgin Mary. Everyone is born sometime. True. That's true, but I don't want to share a birthday with this asshole. Listen, for all intents and purposes, my birthday was since I was so close to July 25th anyways, okay? In lieu of this new information, my new birthday is now July 25th. There you go. Jimmy Dore is using the Kennedy. Yeah, this makes no sense.
Same thing with RFK.
What? They're trying to discredit RFK because question mark he's like Trump? No, dude, we literally watched RFK in his own words talk about how there is a biological weapon. Oh wait, hold on. You might be right this time. I might be jumping the gun. Hold on. You're right. You're right. Let me rewind. I might have jumped the gun on that one.
RFK. And so, but they could discredit. Same thing with RFK.
Yeah, RFK. Sorry, fake news. Don't listen to me.
Oh, but they could discredit Donald Trump because he had a comb over and he's been a clown in our society for 30 years or 40. And so it was easier to do that to him than someone else. And Donald Trump didn't have any allies inside the Republican Party because.
What? The dude practically owns the Republican Party. What are you talking about? Donald Trump practically runs the Republican Party. Donald Trump is the Republican Party. Like, this idea that Donald Trump is some kind of, like, anti-establishment outsider is only being pushed by the far right. Holy shit, I share a birthday with Bernie Sanders. Hell yeah, there you go. Yep, there's no one else really. Exactly. Anyone who has challenged Trump is just like miles behind him in terms of like the polls.
He didn't come up through the Republican Party,
Right.
and nobody owed him favors. And so that's why the Republicans establishment and the donor class hates Donald Trump.
He is the donor class, bro. What are you talking about? The donor class hates Donald Trump. He is the establishment. He is the oligarchy. He is the swamp. To say that like he's some anti-establishment candidate is ludicrous. Donald Trump isn't an anti-establishment candidate. He is the establishment. He is the status quo. He is the swamp. He is the oligarchy. Because GOP considered Trump king since 2000. Since 2000? I guess. Then he ran in 2015. I mean, like, yeah, Donald Trump has been giving money to both political parties forever. So, yeah.
That's the difference between him and Joe Biden. The biggest difference between Donald Trump and Joe Biden is the donor class hates Donald Trump and they love Joe Biden.
No. No, I think both donor class, because they're all the same. They're all in the same class. You know, the capitalist. They're both fine either way. If that was the case, if what Jimmy Dore is saying, if what Jimmy Dore is saying is true, then explain to me why Trump's like most hailed in the Republican Party, at least. One of his most hailed accomplishments. Why is one of his most touted accomplishments is massive tax cuts for the rich. That was like one of like the biggest like things that he did, was to give the donor class, the oligarchs, the wealthy, huge tax cuts. So can we please, can you help me square that circle? I think in 2000, Trump was involved with the Reform Party. Really? Ross was in the 92, 96 era? Yeah, but I think they're talking about like the party, not literally Ross Perot. I think they were mentioning the party. Yeah, gotcha. Okay, the referencing the party. Gotcha. Okay, yeah. All right, so explain that one, Jimmy Dore. Explain that one to me. If truly the donor class, the establishment, the oligarchs, whatever, because it's all the same to him, then why is Donald Trump's one of his most touted accomplishments was a massive tax cut for the rich? Trump contributed directly to the death of 1 million Americans. That's an accomplishment, however grim that may be. Yep. Pat Buchanan was on the reform ballot in 2000.
Right, because what did we find out from Tucker Carlson? That one of the plans for Fox News was to support Ron DeSantis this time around and not to support Donald Trump, because the donors plan to back Ron DeSantis, and that's how it works.
Oh, I didn't know that Tucker revealed that. That's interesting. Of course, that's the truth.
Oh man, is that even true? I know like the Republican Party was trying to like push DeSantis for a bit, but like, yeah, that's pretty much a no-go. 2 questions: who pays Jimmy Dore, and where does he get his info? Because something stinks. Well, I mean, he's basically now just the only purpose that Jimmy Dore has is the same that Russell Brand does. It's the same purpose that Russell Brand has, and it's to soften up. And it's to soften up people to fascism. That's it. That's his purpose. That's all. That's literally what Jimmy Dore is there for right now. As far as who pays him, I don't know. But his purpose is the same as Russell Brand and these like other types. Kim Iverson. Kim Iverson is also in that kind of bracket or branch, and like breaking points too. Is just to like soften people up to fascism. That's it. That's literally it. That's his purpose. That's why he's there. And it's aged him for sure, yeah. Ah, man, listen, I'm your like I don't get that reference, so I guess I'm not your friend. Sorry. You're gonna have to post the reference, okay? You're gonna have to post the reference. Too bad, failure. No. Damn. What an L for me.
Yeah. They had already decided, Rupert Murdoch had already decided, we're going with DeSantis this time around, not Donald Trump, because that's who the donors are backing. So that's how it works.
Well, Joe Biden is a bigger fat.
That's how it works.
Yeah, so no substantiation of that claim. We got no evidence of that claim. That's it. You just stated things. To state things, and of course Emma retweeting, commenting, looking into this concerning. Yeah. If he started using facts on his show, the bar would be raised too much. He just literally made it up. Literally. He just made it up. He just said things. You know, apparently you just say things and that's it. That's all you need to do. For a right-wing meme. The old it is known meme. No, I'm lost on that one. I missed the reference, so I'm just gonna take that L. Game of Thrones? I mean, Oh, you're gonna have to refresh my memory because I've watched Game of Thrones. I know that much. Oh, it is known Khaleesi. Okay.
Conservative pollster Frank Luntz decided to head on up to Iowa, the first contest for the Republican Party. Democrats have shifted their agenda. They're starting with...
Join the Discord. Yes, that's a good point. We can meme more there. Yes. There you go. If you haven't done so already.
Recently, conservative pollster Frank Luntz decided to head on up to Iowa, the first contest for the Republican Party. Democrats have shifted their agenda. They're starting with South Carolina, not Iowa. But Iowa is still the big contest for the Republican Party. So Luntz, again, conservative pollster, headed up there and he assembled a panel of Republican voters, evangelical Republican voters. A panel that mostly agrees that the 2020 election was stolen for some reason. So we're talking about like Trump-believing voters. And yes, that is important to point out that these people are, very clearly buying into everything Trump says, because this evangelical group of Republican Iowa voters also had a warning for Frank Luntz. Now, the warning was to him because he was there. The warning is more for Donald Trump and the entire Republican Party. And that warning is simple, and it's this. Donald Trump has not attracted a single new voter in this election cycle. And let me read you this quote from one of the panelists.
Like, here's the thing. While that may be the case, do not underestimate this guy by any stretch of the imagination. Also, do not underestimate the Democrats' ability to fuck this up. Okay? What's going to matter is if that's the case, and that very well may be, if that's the case, that may very well be, but it's gonna come down to how much the Democratic Party can activate the base. That's what it's gonna come down to.
That Luntz had assembled there. This panelist said, "Do you know of any people that now support Trump that didn't support him then? He's only losing voters." They went on to say that the people who flipped from Trump to Biden in 2020 are not flipping back, right? They have no reason to flip back right now. But what I love about this statement is, of course, it's the same thing that I've been saying for quite a while here, and that is that Donald Trump's not bringing in anybody new. And he's lost quite a few of the people that he had in the past. I mean, God only knows how many scores of them, tens of thousands, unfortunately died from COVID after they voted in the 2020 election. That's a thing that is going to hurt Donald Trump's numbers in the 2024 election. It's a little morbid. It's not something.
Yeah, but again, to say that, like, I know what he's getting at, but do not underestimate this guy. Do not underestimate this guy. Whatever base he does have will be highly mobilized. Just don't underestimate this guy. It is going to be a close race. It is going to be a close race.
People want to talk about, but you look at the numbers. You know,
here's a question: how many people that were motivated to go out to vote in 2020 it's a two-part question. How many people were motivated to go out in 2020? How many of those people were motivated to go out and vote in 2020 and voted for Biden? Sorry, it's a three-part question. And then how many of those people will be motivated again to vote and again to vote for Joe Biden? It's really a four-part question. Sorry. But I think the point is made, right? Because that's the real line of questioning, right? How many people are motivated to vote in 2020? Okay, a lot. That was a pretty historic election, right? In terms of like turnout. How many of those people are going to turn out again? And out of those people, how many are going to vote for Biden again? Because something tells me, that maybe it's not going to be as high of a turnout as the 2020 election. Like, will some of the anti-Trump vote get motivated again, get activated again? Possibly. Maybe. Do we think Trump will get 72 million or more in 2024? It's possible. It's possible. Or, the way I'm flipping it, the way I'm posing the question, or the way I'm posing the scenario, is not so much how much Trump can get out, because we know the answer to that, right? I'm going based off this prediction, right? That Trump isn't getting any new voters, right? So we know that his people are going to come out, and his people are going to come out pretty reliably to vote for him, right? We know that part. So how many people are going to be motivated enough to come out and vote for Joe Biden again? Again. And the Electoral College? Well, if the swing states, or the small amount of states that will make or break the election, come down to, like, you know, a small margin of voters that twist or, you know, turn the Electoral College one way or another, that's still pretty big, isn't it? So point being is that that's still my question still stands. And my scenario and hypothetical is quite relevant, because there is a very good pathway for Trump to win. He doesn't need a majority of the popular vote. We know that. So again, how many people are going to be motivated to come out again, and how many of those are going to be motivated to vote for Biden again?
We've talked about the stories here. You had more Republicans die from COVID after the vaccines became available, right as Trump was leaving office, basically. More Republicans died than Democrats. That's a simple fact. That's going to come back and haunt the Republicans. Honestly, I think it did in 2022, because nobody wanted to think about it or talk about it, but I think that's one of the reasons Republicans perform so poorly. But when you have a coalition of voters that has a strong base, right? But that base is a little on the wacky extreme side, the dangerous side almost. Well, not almost, they are. That also turns off the voters. It's not just Donald Trump. It's not just the crazy things he says on Truth Social. It's not just his bombastic personality. It's not just his constant whining about 2020. It's his supporters. Because you have other more moderate, normal Republican voters out there who...
Yeah, but those people are... Those people are still going to... Those people are going to still end up voting Republican, the majority of those people. Can the DNC guarantee Biden's success? No, they can't. It's a very close race. To say that, like, we have a guaranteed success at the election, at the presidential election, is a lie. They don't. And I don't think we should think that way. I don't think they think that way. I certainly hope not. Because that's a losing strategy. I will be voting for Cornel West. Memo for the record, how's it going? I mean, you vote, you want to vote for. No election is in the bag. Right, and this one is going to be very close. I guarantee it. Hope you're, I'm hanging in there.
Might be, okay, yeah, I don't hate Trump, but I don't want to be one of those people. I don't want to have to drive around with a giant, 12-foot Trump flag hanging off the back of my car. I don't want to be associated with that. And it turns more people off. So Trump has a very real electoral problem, which is another reason, by the way, I say don't believe these polls that are out right now that show Biden only beating Trump by 4 percentage points. The only reason those polls are that close is because Biden has lost voters too.
Right, which is my point. That's a more dangerous scenario because Trump's, base is, quite frankly, more enthusiastic and will come out more fervently than Biden's base, right? Like, let's be honest. Biden didn't get elected. Biden didn't get elected because he was a good candidate. Okay? Biden got elected because Trump was on the ballot. That was the only other alternative. And it seems like we're heading down the same freaking path. The polls are not votes. No, but I keep making this argument. It's not that polls instantly equal votes. It's a good bellwether to kind of indicate, like, put your finger up in the air and see where the wind's kind of blowing. That's what the polls are for. Okay? Obviously, they don't, like, translate one-to-one to votes. But they're a data point that you can kind of use as a bellwether. So my point being is that, yes, Biden didn't win the election because he was a good candidate. Biden won the election because we wanted to reject Trump. And it seems like the same question is going to be presented to us. Which furthers my point as to how many people are going to do that again. How many people are going to be motivated to come out again, and then to come out again and vote for Biden again? That's my question. Bingo, it's almost like Biden is not a good candidate or president. Yeah, no, I certainly hope that, like, certainly I'm not under that impression. It will come down to a total of 20 to 200 K voters in 6 states. Yep.
But when it's all said and done, and we do have our two clear candidates emerge, which it definitely will be Biden on the Democratic side unless he decides to drop out, it'll be Trump on the Republican side. They've made it clear they don't care about the indictments, no matter what they are. Once all that settles, we're going to see those polls, that are always neck and neck, flip-flopping every week with Trump ahead of Biden, Biden ahead of Trump. We're going to see a massive schism develop. Once it becomes clear that these are the two choices, Biden, I think, is going to have a massive statistical advantage over Donald Trump.
I disagree.
For this very reason. And the Republicans know this. This is why people like Mitch McConnell wanted to move on from Trump, even though he did nothing to actually move the party on from Trump. But Republicans in D.C. have been warning about this just as often as I have. They know that Trump can't bring in new people, that he can't attract the swing voters and the moderates. So when it's all said and done, and Trump is officially the nominee, his poll numbers are going to look worse than anything we have seen in recent presidential polling history. And this little focus group in Iowa is sounding the alarm bells right now, and these are voters. They're not politicians, they're not experts, they're not pollsters themselves. These are people on the ground who talk to fellow Trump supporters. And they're telling us this guy can't win. Hey everyone.
I hope that's the case, okay? I mean, this is a very optimistic way of putting it. This is a very, optimistic way of putting it. Just using the small sample size, to be quite frank. But okay. I mean, I'll eat my damn beanie. If I'm proven wrong. I'll eat my damn beanie if I'm proven wrong. I would be happy to be proven wrong. I would be happy, months from now when it's all said and done, and like Farron says, there's obviously okay, this is the final two candidates. If that's the case and that ends up being the case, I'll gladly eat my hat. I'll gladly. I would rather be this wrong. I would rather be wrong in this situation. I fear anyone running against Biden, Trump is bad enough, but any other Republican would beat Biden. Probably. Probably. It's such a silly, it's such a silly situation where we're actually depending on the Republican Party being so horrible, that they, cause themselves to lose. It's still too early. This could change. It could. We'll see after the nominations are done. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna stick with my predictions. This is gonna be a close race. Make no mistake about it. If it ends up being the case that these polls start to shift and the political wind starts to move, then so be it. I'm wrong. Then so be it. I'll eat my hat. All right, shifting gears. We've got some headlines that we need to cover. Scientists sound alarm over unheard of conditions in the coast of England. It's not just the heat waves that's happening. It's not just the marine heat wave that's happening around Florida. But scientists are worrying that El Nino prolonged ocean heat up off the coast of England and Ireland will result in massive death tolls for sea life along with other terrible outcomes. Wait till the vote is over before tying on the beanie. Yes, with chocolate sprinkles too. I have to live stream myself eating the beanie. Okay? I work so I don't Twitch anymore. Hey, well, at least you're here. At least you got a moment to hang out over here. Scientists are worried that an El Nino prolonged ocean heat up off the coast of England and Ireland will result in massive death toll for sea life, along with other terrible outcomes. That's because the temperature in the North Sea are already 5 degrees above normal, according to The Guardian. As conditions mount for continued ocean warming, the experts fear that sea life could be killed off like forest dwellers are destroyed during wildfires. It's all a part of the fallout from an overheating planet. Ocean warming in the North Sea have been ongoing for decades. The mercury rose to a record high this spring based on recordings dating back to the 1850s. It's part of a trend of ocean warm-ups during the past 3 decades. The sea surface temperature around the planet have measured at all-time highs peaking at 70.2 degrees Fahrenheit, according to The Guardian. While marine heat waves are found in warmer seas like the Mediterranean, such anomalous temperatures in this part of the North Atlantic are unheard of, said Professor Daniela Schmidt told The Guardian. Since water covers more than 70% of Earth's surface, the ocean catches a lot of the solar energy. The sea can move that heat around the globe as part of the natural climate balance, but human-caused overheating is overloading the system. Experts warn that more than 90% of excess heat is absorbed in the oceans. Yes. Heat stresses marine organisms in other parts of the world. We have seen several mass mortalities of marine plants and animals caused by ocean heat waves, which have caused losses in fisheries, income, carbon storage, cultural values, and habitat loss. Kelp, which stores carbon, fish, and oysters are among the species being monitored. A combination of factors, including planet-wide overheating and El Nino, are involved, experts report in a video shared by The Guardian. During an El Nino weekend, trade winds allow warmer water to be pushed east towards the west of the Americas, disrupting oceans around the world. But as this is happening below the surface of the ocean, it will go unnoticed. Droughts and floods are disasters mentioned in the clip as possible repercussions from on land from the ocean's warming. Piers Foster, a climate physics professor at University of Leeds, told The Guardian that human-induced warming is a priority problem. So efforts to reduce pollution are key to cooling our waters. Experts are monitoring Antarctic sea ice and other metrics to gauge the warming's severity. If ocean warming carries on through the summer, we could see mass mortality of kelp, seagrass, fish, and oysters. Dan Smale from the Marine Biological Association said in the Guardian report. This is pretty messed up, and we're going to continue to see these unprecedented articles because it's, to be quite frank, it's no longer is it unprecedented. Now it's just a norm. Now this is what's expected. It can be expected, and this is happening now. Okay, we haven't even crossed the 1.5 degrees. And things like this are already happening. If we do not address this problem, it's only going to get worse. If we do not get ourselves off of fossil fuels, it's only going to get worse. I mean, we've had record after record being broken. I mean, just was it last week? We had like 3 days of records. And now, I think it was yesterday. Was it yesterday or today? We had another record on like the hottest temperature ever recorded on Earth. I think happened yesterday or today in Death Valley. Period. The hottest temperature ever, like the land temperature on Earth recorded. At this point, it is abundantly clear that all the alarm bells should be ringing, and that every possible measure that every possible measure needs to be taken. There is no other planet. There is no planet B. These records are just a Catholic conspiracy to legitimize the rule of Otto I. True. I missed a Twitter clip, so I'm going to go back to it. So, whenever you hear America First, because this is, the founder of America First, this is what they mean. When you hear these Republicans talk about America first, when you see it on their little Twitter bio, when you see it on their campaign, when you see them talk about like America first, this is what they're talking about.
If a Gentile hits a Jew, he must be killed. But when a Jew murders a Gentile, there will be no death penalty.
This is at a America First rally, America First rally, or a Nazi rally.
Do you think it might be a problem that the people that are running your base, that are making the movies your children watch, do you think it's a problem that they believe that all Christians must die? Yeah! It's a big problem. It's a huge problem. We're in a holy war, and I will tell you this. Because we're willing to die in the holy war, we will make them die in the holy war.
And what's disturbing is like these people are cheering. These people are cheering. This is the end game for conservatism. Okay, this is the end game for conservatism. This is what happens.
And they will go down. We have God on our side, and they
Yeah, it's a death cult. Yes.
will go down with their satanic master. They have no future in America. The enemies of Christ have no future in this world. Thank you. God bless you. Good night.
Like, dude's talking about a second Holocaust, folks. Like, this is deeply, deeply fucking serious. He's not joking. If these type of people continue to worm their way into power, little by little, which they have, this is what their goals are. This is what they want. This is the Republican Party. And here we have massive fucking clown and Twitch streamer Sneeko. Mind you, this is the same clown who complained about why his family doesn't want to have him in fucking in fucking reunions anymore. Why does Nick Fuentes think he's so in the Lord? Because that's what religion, like, this is all part of the thing. Like, yeah, this is exactly why you should not be religious. This is bad. This is all like, a part of this is religious extremism. It is all intertwined. All this Nazism shit, religion is a cover story, right?
Fuentes is going to be the future president of the United States.
And he goes and endorses and wants him to be president. 85% of the population on Earth are religious. Most aren't, Fuentes. Facts, but organized religion, especially organized religion that leads to this type of extremism, yeah, that is a factor. That is a factor. Megalomaniacs actually think God is on their side because of course they do. Right. It's their God that's going to lead them into this great victory, or whatever. Yeah, my gripe is mostly with these organized extremist religions, religious people.
If a Gentile hates a Jew,
It also often teaches that only their followers legitimately have a right to rule or have God things happen to them, which means the reverse is also true. The enemies deserve their ire. Yep. This is a real problem because, like, people like him continue to make rounds. And this is the same person who introduced Marjorie Taylor Greene. This is the same person who had dinner with the current frontrunner of the Republican Party. I mean, like, that is deeply disturbing. That this is the same dude who's out introducing sitting members of Congress, supporting different Republican politicians at the local, state, and even federal level. The same dude who has had dinner with the President of the United States and current frontrunner of the Republican Party. I mean, like, alarm bells, people. Alarm bells. Former president. Yeah, I know. Former president, but they always... Whatever. It's a... what is it? Distinction? Without a difference? Because, like, they call everyone... Like, you don't say ex-President Obama. But whatever. That's neither here nor there. The point being is, yes, he is the current frontrunner of the Republican Party. I would say President Obama. I don't know. It's always been like a thing, right? That you like, or is that just me? That always like you always refer to like former presidents as president either way, or is that just like wrong? Am I wrong here? No, they do that. Okay. Yeah, former presidents are usually referred... Okay, cool. But if you really think about it, it is stupid. Yeah, I know, it's they're not technically president. Right. It's like a title, yeah. They do it with congressmen, yeah, and senators too. But they treat it like a title, but it's something that they do, but Trump doesn't deserve it. True. They do get a pension and Secret Service protection for life. True. Sneeko was banned from Rumble. Wait, no, not Rumble. Kick? What was he banned from? But trending Sneeko on Rumble. I mean, that's... yeah. Anyways. Oh, he's banned from Twitch. Okay, gotcha. No person deserves it, but typically not a Cheatham in chief. It is uniquely an American thing now that I think about it. Okay, so let me rephrase that. Former President Trump has had dinner with this neo-Nazi. Former President Trump has had dinner with this neo-Nazi. Sitting members of Congress has been introduced by this neo-Nazi. This dude has had numerous rallies in support of different, Republican movements. Was busing people in January 6th and other pro-Republican rallies. The dude's been everywhere. It's very deeply disturbing how close this guy is. For the record, if we start pushing back on Congress using their offices as titles, true. True. I will remember to use former president or just their name. It's very disturbing. All right. The Republicans don't care. No, they don't. They embrace it. They're fine with it. I prefer current trader. Trump still has to deal with Wednesday of January 6th. Maybe. I certainly hope so. I guess we'll see if he gets indicted. I certainly hope so. I certainly hope he does. I certainly hope so. No, the Republicans don't give a shit because this is fundamentally who they are. Fundamentally, that this is who they are. They're perfectly fine with this. I wish they were investigating him for the murder of his first wife. If you hear other places too, Doral and Jupiter, I guess, are coming up for Trump. What? Like they're like support? They're coming up like support for Trump, or from an outside perspective, it's insane how Republicans actually rallied around him. It was telling how few actually stood up for their principles and then paid the price. Right, well, they don't care. Oh, investigation, really? Damn. I mean, shocking. Con man is being investigated yet again. Yeah, so basically, like, that just tells me that Republicans, for the most part, well, these politicians, for the most part, don't have principles. And you can tell by the way some of these people talk, they don't actually give a shit, at the end of the day. Trump wasn't a break from the Republican Party. He was the logical continuation of it. That is exactly the perfect what is it? Description. The perfect way of putting it. That is the perfect way of putting it. Trump isn't a break from the Republican Party. He was just a logical continuation of it. That's exactly it. FYI, giant dwarfs were just as a wonderful colony sim, and I can't recommend it enough when you need to escape from when you need a break from reality. Is that a video game? Like The Sims? It's part of fascism that the old guard think that they can control the psychopath, but the psychopath disinhibits the authoritarian mobs. Far more complicated than Sims. Gotcha. Do you know RimWorld? It's an inspiration for that game. Gotcha. No, I have not played RimWorld. I wonder what led their party down this path. It seems self-destructive to me. Like, where... Well, I mean, fascism is self-destructive, right? Where does it lead? Where did Germany end up? Italy. All these fascist movements are, by definition and by nature, self-destructive. We only need to see history to see how this ends. You build a country on white supremacist settler colonialism, that's what you get. There you go. Did you be thought Trump would be perfect and better than Reagan? Yeah, but like Simon Lacker said, it's not a break from it, it's a continuation. It's the natural flow of where things were going with conservatives, right? With the Republican Party. Prosecutors also asked a question about boxes of documents being moved not only at Mar-a-Lago, but other Trump-owned properties in Florida, including... Oh, that's what you're talking about. Whoo, boy. Yikes. If that's the case, the dude's even more cooked than we thought. If that's the case, the dude's even more cooked on the more serious charges. Yeah, every single Republican brought us to this. Yes, but not without help. not without help. Not without help. Shifting gears, Elizabeth Warren urges SEC to investigate Tesla over Twitter ties. Donald's in the John with Boxes song. The Saudis have all the documents. Oh, you mean like Trump sold them to the Saudis? I suspect that we're going to find more details as this case goes on. But yeah, Senator Warren sent a letter urging the U.S. Security and Exchange Commission to investigate Tesla and its board of directors over possible conflict of interest, misappropriation of corporate assets, and other negative impacts of Tesla shareholders related to CEO Elon Musk's Twitter takeover. In the letters sent to the SEC chair, Gary Gensler, on Monday, Warren wrote about Tesla's board's apparent lack of independence from Musk, combined with inaction and incomplete disclosure, raised questions about possible violations of security laws and exchange rules which fall under SEC's jurisdiction. The 9-page letter, first obtained by CNBC, reiterates concerns Warren had raised earlier in correspondence to Tesla chair Robin Denholm in December of 2022, after Musk led a $44 billion buyout of Twitter. The take-private deal included $1.13 billion in debt, and Musk reportedly sold billions of dollars worth of his Tesla share to finance the transaction. A spokesperson for SEC Office of Public Affairs and Gensler will respond to members of Congress directly. Musk appointed himself CEO of Twitter after the deal closed and quickly made sweeping changes to the social network while cutting more than 3/4 of the staff at the company and authorizing teams of employees from Tesla and SpaceX to assist him there. So why did you cut off... Okay, whatever. Citing CNBC's reporting on the matter, Warren wrote that taking Tesla's employees over to Twitter could have compromised possible violations of state and federal labor law. Yeah, like, this guy gives a shit about fucking labor laws. Wasn't Tesla found, like, in violation of labor laws as well? Like, not to mention, like, the dude's strike-breaking actions, but wasn't he found, like, in violation of labor laws because of something about the Tesla paint or something of the sort? So this, whatever. The point being is that this dude does not give a fuck. In recent weeks, Musk appointed Linda Yaccarino, who previously ran global advertising for Comcast, NBC Universal, to the role of Twitter CEO. Her hiring stirred hope that Twitter's beleaguered advertising business would soon recover and Musk would return to focus on Tesla and SpaceX. As early Saturday, Musk admitted that Twitter's cash flow remains negative after 50% ad revenue declines and heavy debt. Tesla is scheduled to report its second quarter earnings after the bell on Wednesday of this week. In her letter to the SEC, the senator said that appointment of Yaccarino still leaves Musk in charge of Twitter, where he's now CTO and executive chairman, and the arrangement could lead to conflict of interest. So point being is that yeah, I think that this dude should be investigated. Fuck this guy. New York Times recently reported that despite the charges against Trump and Nauta, the grand jury in Miami that returned the indictments was still issuing new subpoenas for documents indicating the investigation was still active. In a court filing, Smith's office confirmed that prosecutors that interviewed witnesses as recently as June 23rd, a few weeks after Trump and Nauta were charged. Yeah, I hope so. I hope this guy gets super fucking cooked. But we'll see. Like Alio said, the Georgia one and the Georgia, like the election tampering one, and the January 6th one is the two that I'm gonna be most interested in. Although this one about these documents is pretty serious too. If the guy gets convicted in this, he's going to jail effectively for the rest of his life. So yeah, I hope they can get him on all they can. Yeah, yeah, seriously. They need to bring down the hammer on that guy. All right, so yeah, let's talk about this. Senator Manchin's speech stokes speculation of White House run. What are you doing, bro? Maverick, i.e., conservative Democratic Senator Joe Manchin on Monday is set to address a bipartisan group in New Hampshire, a critical early voting state. Critical early voting state in 2024 presidential primary election, feeding speculation that he could be weighing a third-party candidacy. Are you fucking for real? The former West Virginia governor, first elected, blah, 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 I don't care. Will speak to the quote No Labels organization, promoting the possibility of backing a third-party candidate. Manchin, 75, is arguably the most conservative Democratic senator. Right, so he's not... Why did you categorize him as... Whatever. He's a fucking conservative. He has told reporters that he will wait until late this year before announcing whether he will seek re-election to the U.S. Senate seat representing West Virginia. Should Manchin seek another term, he's likely to face a serious challenge from Governor Jim Justice, who's seeking the Republican Party nomination. The state has also been leaning heavily Republican, having overwhelmingly voted for Trump in 2016 and 2020. Meanwhile, Manchin has not swatted away reporters' questions over whether he might be considered what could be a long-shot run as an independent candidate. It is clear that most Americans are exceedingly frustrated by the growing divide in our political parties and toxic political rhetoric from our elected leaders, like you, Manchin said in a no-label statement last week detailing Monday's town hall event at St. Anselm College in Manchester. This Trump, a 77-year-old former president, leads a crowded field of Republicans and presidential aspirants, and many voters express worries about the 80-year-old President Biden seeking a second term. Speculation of an independent candidate entering the race generates heartburn among Democratic strategies who want the incumbent reelected. He'll lose to Justice? Probably. I'll be honest, probably. You have to humiliate the cult leader to break the spell. You can't just accuse him or he'll become the martyr. Oh, yeah, but yeah, I mean, he should still be prosecuted, though. Like, fuck that guy. Opinion polls, polling shows that neither Democrats nor Republicans are thrilled with their likeliest 2024 candidate, while 4 in 10 Republicans telling May Reuters Ipsos poll think that Trump should not run again, and a similar number of Democrats citing the similar view of Biden. On Sunday, No Labels co-chair Joe Lieberman said his group will not field a candidate in 2024. Polling showed that doing so would help elect a Democratic or Republican presidential nominee. We're not in this to be spoilers. With more than a decade in Congress, Manchin at times of complicated legislative initiatives pushed by his party leaders, but Democratic leaders have treaded softly, as Manchin has also been key to holding on to its party majority. So, yeah, anyways, TLDR, if this guy decides to do that, it'll be out of pure just hubris. Just fucking retire, dude. Take your L and go home. He'll lose to Justice? Yeah, but Justice is the Republican candidate, isn't he? Justice is the Republican candidate. Yeah, so... Manchin has been following the lead of No Labels since Biden was elected. Do you think he's gonna decide to do like a last-minute candidacy? I don't know.
Building a pathway.
Former President Donald Trump has now revealed at least part of his plan to go full authoritarian if he wins in 2024. So in this video, I will detail 3 specific examples that are not only in this New York Times piece, but also on his actual campaign website. This stuff is public. So keep in mind, this is what he's saying publicly.
This is
Imagine what they have planned privately that they are not yet willing to speak on because they may think it's too extreme to showcase publicly. The first thing that comes to mind for me is term limits. I would be shocked. First of all, if Trump wins, I'd be shocked again. But if he wins and doesn't go through with a plan to eliminate term limits, that would be the most shocking thing. Because you have to assume at this point, if this is what they're talking about publicly, term limits are absolutely on the table. So first here with the New York Times headline, since they sort of broke the story, but this is all public knowledge now with Trump's website, so I'll get to that as well. But their headline here, Trump and allies forge plans to increase presidential power in 2025. The former president and his backers aim to strengthen the power of the White House and limit the independence of federal agencies. This is the most neutral way to say this in typical New York Times.
How would they amend the Constitution for that? For term limits? No clue. I don't know if they plan to be honest.
Times fashion. Because this is absolutely something to be concerned about. And while I'm reading through some of these details, imagine if it was about Joe Biden and stuff that he is saying. Imagine how right-wing media, be it Fox News, be it, Ben Shapiro, Daily Wire, Crowder, all these clowns, how they would be reacting to this. But it's Trump, so they're either going to ignore it or they're going to talk it up. So first, just to summarize the entire thing here, Trump and his associates have a broader goal to alter the balance of power by increasing the president's authority over every part of the federal government that now operates by either law or tradition, with any measure of independence from political interference by the White House. So Trump essentially, there's no way around it. He wants to be a dictator. He wants full control over...
Okay, so here's something that I think is relevant. How can I search my tweets? Is there a way I can search my profile for tweets? Yeah, tweets that I've tweeted myself. Okay. Let's see. Hey, come back. I want to go back to like all the way to July. Let's see, Chris. What's that, Chris Rufo? So last year in July, Chris Rufo tweeted something to the effect of like, yeah, we're going to use the executive, in preparation if a Republican wins office, we're going to use the executive to essentially stamp out any left-wing ideology in the federal government, and that comes by taking over these kind of things. Oh. Let's try that. We'll just say August of 2022. Pretty sure it was last year. Oh yeah, here it is. There we go. Yeah, thank you. This is exactly it right here. This is exactly what I was looking for. So this is exactly what Chris Rufo posted. Expanding on this campaign for the next time a Republican assumes the presidency as we approach 2024, I will be publishing a policy paper on eliminating left-wing ideologies in the federal government, using the power of the presidency to fundamentally shape the bureaucracy with a 6-part program targeting budget, content, personnel, grant-making, and oversight. The idea is to centralize ideological control over the federal agencies in the White House and create a team in the Office of Management and Budget to enforce it. We could easily wipe out a significant portion of infrastructure or the left-wing ideologies within the federal bureaucracy and within the network of federal grantees and contractors which would shift American politics in the right direction. This is what he's talking about. By expanding the president's power over the bureaucracy, it's exactly what this is talking about.
For what government is doing, even if it's not under his current role as president. He wants the final say on anything getting through, whether it's funding, whether it's what specific agencies are doing with their power and their independence. He wants the final say over everything. So, first example here. The agenda being pursued has deep roots in the decades-long effort by conservative legal thinkers to undercut what has become known as the administrative state, agencies that enact regulations aimed at keeping the air and water clean and food, drugs, and consumer products safe, but that cut into business profits. This is a very important point to note here. Trump, and really, for me, it's not even really necessarily about Trump, as we'll get to later on at the end of this video.
Yes, the power of executive has expanded with pretty much every president. Yeah, but to like this degree, to wanting to take over the bureaucracy part and basically want to centralize that, as Chris Rufo has insinuated as part of his quote policy work. Yeah, this is some. I think it's like a little bit more than that.
It's more about the conservative mindset and who is around Trump and what their interests are. It's all about business profits. If there is any regulation that is cutting into business profits in any way, they're going to attempt to eliminate that regulation, even if that is there to help people and keep society safe.
Yeah, and like the fact that we just watched Jimmy Dore talk about how like the donors and the establishment or whatever the fuck don't like Trump. Meanwhile, he's like their best corner man.
Their focus is increasing business profits. Now, as I said, all of this is on Trump's website now. President Trump will bring the independent regulatory agencies such as the FCC and the FTC back under presidential authority as the Constitution demands. So, of course, he's trying to play, of course I'm going to do this because the Constitution demands it, demands that I have this kind of power. No longer will unelected members of the Washington Swamp be allowed to act as the fourth branch of our republic. So these, he uses the FCC and FTC as two examples, but he wants complete control over these independent bodies. The final say on everything that they do.
Hyundai Tucson versus Honda CR-V.
Whoa! I don't want any of those.
Mr. Trump has also vowed to impound funds or refuse to spend money appropriated by Congress. After Nixon used the practice to aggressively block agency spending he was opposed to on water pollution control, housing construction, and other issues, Congress banned the tactic. So Trump now wants to have final say over where all the money's going. So, and again, this is on the website. President Trump will take action to challenge the constitutionality of limits placed on the impoundment power by the Congressional Budget and Impoundment Control Act of 1974, which again is what they put in place because of Nixon, the source of Congress's usurpation of executive branch powers. Just the whole
Congress
framing
has
here,
power of the
Congress
purse.
has usurped the power of the executive branch, so we're going to take it back. Is a very creative way of saying Trump wants to be a dictator. President Trump also worked with Congress to overturn the limits of the CBA. And in the passing of CBA, Congress handcuffed the president from preventing wasteful spending. All of congressional control is supposed to be at least a closer representation of democracy. Having a single person, having the president and ultimately his advisors and those around him decide what is and isn't wasteful spending is in itself an authoritarian measure. Another example here. This is the third example. He intends to strip employment protections from tens of thousands of career civil servants, making it easier to replace them if they are deemed obstacles to his agenda. And he plans to scour the intelligence agencies, the State Department, and the defense bureaucracies to remove officials he has vilified as the sick political class that hates our country.
Yeah, this is a lot of red flags going up. So basically the TLDR is that he wants to remove anybody who isn't going to play ball. Anyone who doesn't support him, whether it be from the military, State Department, any civil servants, anyone who doesn't play ball, he wants the authority to strip away any employment protections and basically replace these people with yes men. That is incredibly dangerous.
So he essentially wants to fire anyone in government that doesn't agree with what he's doing. How do you not view this as anything except an authoritarian measure? And again, imagine this is Biden saying this. I'll get to the site in a second. Imagine this is Biden saying any of these things, and the reaction, and what the reaction would be from right-wing media. But from Trump's site here, first, I will immediately reissue my 2020 executive order restoring the president's authority to remove rogue bureaucrats, and I will wield that power very aggressively. So Biden came in. So this was issued in Trump's final year. He didn't, from what I was reading, he didn't utilize it the way that he had wanted to, because there are people around him that were still trying to, warn him on what is legal, what isn't legal, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. But now Trump feels like he has the full authority, if he wins again, would have the full authority to fire whoever the hell he wants. He would bring back this order that he issued in his final year, and he would wield it very aggressively. He's openly saying, I will fire anyone who doesn't agree with me, who isn't, not even doesn't agree with me, who isn't, directly serving my agenda, who isn't kissing my ass. They'll be fired. So, again, this is stuff he's talking about publicly. Now, you may wonder, what is the background to all of this? So the two driving forces of this effort to reshape the executive branch are Mr. Trump's own campaign policy shop and a well-funded network of conservative groups, many of which are populated by former senior Trump administration officials who would most likely play key roles in any second term. But on top of that, this doesn't appear to be just about Trump. Trump right now is the one that's talking about this stuff publicly, is being very open about it. But these sorts of ideas are also going to be recommended to any Republican president. So that gets to this last piece here. So they mentioned Mr. Voigt and Mr. McEntee, who right now are part of this plan, are involved in Project 2025.
Yeah, it's very clear what they're trying to do. Constant loyalty tests that only Trump gets to judge, right?
A $22 million presidential transition operation that is preparing policies, personnel lists, and transition plans to recommend to any Republican who may win the 2024 election. So it isn't just Trump. Or I should say, publicly right now, it is just Trump that is being very specific about all of this. But in terms of the recommendations, they're still going to recommend this to anyone who becomes the nominee or who becomes president. This is the fact that Trump is being as open about this right now as he is, to me, is the most worrying aspect. Because if this is what he's open about, just imagine what he has planned in private.
Yeah, I mean, if it was up to him, there wouldn't be other elections. Yeah, so basically, Trump and his allies are planning a sweeping expansion of presidential powers over the machinery of government if voters return him to the White House, reshaping the structure of the executive branch to concentrate far greater authority directly in his hands. Hey, 2023, more like a 1984. Thank you for the subscription. I think the bigger effect of it would be dismantling the administrative state. It simply can't function with that kind of turnover. Yeah, maybe like even that, maybe that's part of the plan. Maybe they know that Trump is just going to keep cycling through people until he gets his yes men. Maybe that's kind of part of the deal. They know that if someone like Trump gets in there, it's going to be dysfunctional. Their plans to centralize, they don't want to get rid of most agencies. Well, they want to make sure that the bureaucracy essentially works for his agenda, effectively. Their plans to centralize more power in the Oval Office stretch far beyond the former president's recent remarks that he would order a criminal investigation into Biden, signaling his intent to end the post-Watergate norm of Justice Department independence from the White House political control. Mr. Trump and his associates have a broader goal to alter the balance of power by increasing the president's authority over every part of federal government that now operates by either law or tradition with any measure of independence from political interference by the White House, according to a review of his campaign policy proposals and interviews with people close to him. He wants to revive the practice of impounding funds, refusing to spend money Congress has appropriated for programs as a president he doesn't like, a tactic that lawmakers banned under President Nixon, which is what he was talking about. Dysfunctional is putting it nicely. Yep. He intends to strip employment protections from tens of thousands of career civil servants, making it easier to replace them as if they are deemed obstacles to his agenda. And he plans to scour the intelligence agencies and State Department and defense bureaucracies to remove officials he vilified as a, quote, sick political class that hates our country, i.e., people that do not agree with me. Our current executive branch, Mr. McEntee added, was conceived of by liberals for the purpose of promulgating liberal policies. There's no way to make the existing structure function in a conservative manner. It is not enough to get the personnel right. What's necessary is a complete system overhaul. So basically what he's saying is that conservatives are incompatible with the idea that there's some kind of independent governmental agencies that are doing different functions. It all has to be centralized in the conservative mindset. So, yeah, basically he believes that conservatism can't work unless there's more centralized control. So, in other words, Republicans are fundamentally incompatible with democracy. Period. Mr. Trump and his advisors are making no secret of their intentions, proclaiming them in rallies and on his... Yeah, but that wasn't Trump that said that, though. That was the people proposing, the conservative think tanks proposing this. This wasn't him. Mr. Trump and his advisors are making no secret of their intentions, proclaiming them in rallies and on his campaign website, describing them in white papers and openly discussing them. Quote, "What we're trying to do is identify the pockets of independence and seize them," says Russell Vought, who ran for Office of Management and Budget in the Trump White House and now runs a political organization called Center for Renewing America. The strategy is talking openly about such paradigm shifting ideas before the election. Mr. Vought said to plant a flag that both to shift the debate and later to be able to claim a mandate. He said he was delighted to see few of Trump's Republican primary rivals defend the norm of Justice Department independence after the former president openly attacked it. Stephen Chung, a spokesperson for Trump campaign, said in a statement that the former president has laid out a bold and transparent agenda for his second term, something no other candidate has done. Voters will know exactly how the president will supercharge the economy, bring down inflation, secure the border, and protect communities and eradicate the deep state that works against Americans once and for all. The two driving forces of this effort to reshape the executive branch are Trump's own campaign policy shop, a well-funded network of conservative groups, many of whom are populated by senior Trump administration officials, as we saw. That work at Heritage dovetails with the plans on Trump campaign website to expand presidential power that were drafted primarily by two Trump's advisors, Vincent Haley and Ross Worthington, with input from other advisors, including Stephen Miller, the architect of former president's hardline immigration agenda. Yep, that guy. Some elements of the plan have been floated when Trump was in office, but were impeded by internal concerns that they would be unworkable and could lead to setbacks. And for some veterans of Mr. Trump's turbulent White House who came to question his fitness for leadership, the prospect of removing guardrails and centralizing even greater power over government directly in his hands sounded like a recipe for mayhem. Yeah, except that this is exactly what they're going to try to do. Its legal underpinning is a maximalist version of the so-called unitary executive theory. The legal theory rejects the idea that government is composed of three separate branches with overlapping powers to check and balance each other, except that's exactly how it was designed. Instead, the theory's adherents argued that the Article 2 of the Constitution gives the president complete control of the executive branch, so Congress cannot empower agency heads to make decisions or restrict the president's ability to fire them. Reagan's administration lawyer developed the theory as they sought to advance a deregulatory agenda, which is, as the Rational National David Dole said, kind of the end goal. The fact that he can take control over these bureaucracies and eliminate, and by extension eliminate regulation, is incredibly worrying. And by also extent, he can expand his ability to decide what happens. Roger Stone bought the domain Stop the Steal in 2016. The big lie was already in his idea. Yeah, that was already circulating. Even in the 2016 election, he was saying things like, Trump was saying things like, I know I won, but I should have won by an even bigger margin. Trump said that like millions of illegals voted for Hillary or some shit like that. I think that was like not verbatim, but pretty close. He said something to that effect. They were expecting to lose in 2016. Yeah. And they were trying to say things like it would be rigged. Because I remember Trump saying that like I should have won by even a bigger margin. Let me see. Yeah, like he was saying that the rigged election narrative he'd been spinning sounded weird even after he won. Yeah, so basically it's because I think maybe they had that in their back pocket, maybe. Who knows? But yeah. Should illegal immigrants get more help from the state than homeless citizens? Why is one or the other? Like maybe we should help both. Maybe we should do what everything in our power to make sure there are no homeless people, and also be able to like assist like people that are coming, that are fleeing for their lives. Why is that like it's such a impossible thought process? Are you that unimaginative that you can't imagine a place where you can fight homelessness and also help people that are fleeing for their lives? I don't know. Any disaster that befell the U.S. during the Trump administration, he seems to enjoy without withholding help. He won't enjoy watching his country die at his hands as he did during COVID. His only concern was re-election. Yep. Yeah, maybe it sounded weird because they already had it in the back pocket. Because like you said, maybe they were expecting to lose and that was going to be the excuse. So if you could imagine a system that also simultaneously works on like making sure there's no homeless people while also helping like people fleeing for their lives. If you can imagine that system, then like why the fuck are you even making that comment? Does that make sense? Like it doesn't have to be one or the other. It doesn't have to be like, oh, well, should we help? Well, we should help both, right? Like, that makes sense. I think there should be a legal process for immigration, just not one that takes 7 years. Okay. So why are we having this conversation? So you agree that there should be like a proper, like, you know, we shouldn't have to like put, you know, all these inhumane conditions, and that we should be doing everything in our power to help these people. Because at the end of the day, also, we had a huge part in creating a lot of the problems that come from like downstream effects of what we've done anyways. Like, we should kind of own that and take responsibility for that. So why are we having this conversation if you agree? Do you just say random? Oh, so this is a known no nonsense? Because I vaguely remember this username. No, like, not that you know them, meaning you've seen them in other chats, or is this like the same like random messages that they come here through? Because I remember, I remember like certain usernames. Well, maybe it's because, like, you know, I have mod brain, so I'm like constantly like keeping track of certain usernames, especially like seeing like hundreds and hundreds of people through through the majority report. I kind of like make it a point to remember, like, some usernames just stick out, you know. I believe the simulacra is correct. Yeah, I believe so. I'm looking at the chat history. Not good. Not good. Do you go to a Diablo stream and start talking about Zelda? That's an excellent point. All right. Yeah, like, you know, from the greatest hits of, do you think that talking badly about Trump is going to do anything? You guys are effed. Why would you run Biden again? Who's we, bro? You all need to produce another scare to have a chance at winning. Yeah. Is this a left extremist channel? No, this is a Wendy's. Sir, this is a Wendy's. We don't have cheeseburgers. A spicy chicken? Hold on, is chat just gonna bring up orders? Jeez. Wow, that guy sounds pretty base. That's you, bro. And it's not base, it's ridiculous. Anyways. The point being is, why are we having this conversation if you agree with what I'm saying? Anyways, point being is Trump is authoritarian, and this all kind of ties down with what I'm talking about when I make the case the Republican Party is fundamentally incompatible with democracy. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is exactly what Chris Rufo is talking about. So this is not new. So if this guy wins, it's gonna be deeply disturbing. a burger and chili. Their chili can't be that good, okay? Their chili can't be that good. Trump is authoritarian. How Biden hires it? Okay, so hiring 87,000 IRS agents to actually perform the job of the IRS is not authoritarian. What does it have to do with being authoritarian? Trump is absolutely authoritarian. He's literally talking about consolidating as many bureaucratic decisions to himself and giving himself the sole ability to depose or fire any worker who opposes him. That's literally that's literally the definition of authoritarianism. Like wanting to centralize control so that you can make unilateral decisions is pretty fucking authoritarian. Like never mind the fact that like he's continuously drumming up this anti-election bullshit. It's profitable for the IRS to go after rich people. Yes. So you agree that expanding the power of the federal agents is authoritarian? No. He's making the federal agencies unilaterally under his control. It's centralized. Do you not understand that concept, or is that too hard for you? Less taxes for us. If you're rich, they went up on the working class. Exactly. Someone I don't like equals fascist. No, fascists are fascists. You're not explaining well in either case. I'm sorry that you're incapable of understanding something very, very simple. One person, the executive branch, is going to have, if he gets his way, the executive branch is going to solely control the regulatory bodies of the federal bureaucracy. How is that not centralized control? Like, is that just too hard of a concept for you? Or do you just not care? Do you not care? Like, yeah, it's... Anyways, sorry. I'm wasting too much time. Sorry. There we go. Let's just not waste any more time on that. At this point in time, like if you can't tell the fascistic tendencies of Trump and how bad this situation is, talking about like you know centralizing control over federal bureaucracies just to get rid of regulations or get rid of people he doesn't like. The fact that this dude has been found attempting to overturn elections. It's literally on phone. It's on a phone call that's taped. The fact that this dude has repeatedly denied the election over and over and over again, and then wants to take over, is deeply disturbing. The fact that he inspired an insurrection, I mean, like, it goes on and on and on. Yeah, if I call him a fascist not because I don't like him, because he fits the bill. He's very nationalistic. He's very authoritarian. And he adheres to a lot of the tenets of fascism. Right, a textbook case. Anyways. Alio with the 11 biddies, thank you so much. Right, the cabinet equals Trump and his family, the directors of NSA, CIA, all of these things would essentially be under his control because he could just say, like, hey, I'm going to fire everybody who doesn't agree with me. The direct quote from the article was to remove anybody who was not playing along with his agenda. So, anyways, the point being is that this is incredibly disturbing, and the dude just wants to take it over. He wants to take everything over, and you know, if he has the chance to, he will. Remember when he bragged about sending the federal task force to kill Michael Roney, the guy who killed the Patriot Prayer guy? Yeah, I mean, like he lives off that shit. Absolutely, yeah, he's perfectly fine with using the state, the state's, you know, ability for violence and monopoly on violence to take care of its political opponents. And will gloat over it. Right. Like how much of a the best perfect example is exactly that. The fact that he tried to stop the transfer of power from an election that was run from a legally run election. The fact that he tried to stop that, the fact that he tried to overturn it is like basically everything that you need to know. He attempted to start a coup. Right? Yeah, well, he did. Well, he effectively did. In multiple ways. He tried to get the fake electors. He incited an insurrection. All because he lost. So, yeah, I mean, if that isn't authoritarian, I don't know what is. Of course, these people don't grasp that concept. But anyways, we got through it all, folks. We got through it all. I got to get to dinner. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you, Simon Locker. Thank you, Alio. Thank you, Conscious Canuck. Echo Wrestle Dragon. Hambliss, thank you. Make sure I get everybody. SV Harkin. Thank you for mixing it up in the chat. Heat. Michael Hassler, thank you for keeping it chill on the chat. Hopefully I got everything. Memo for the record, thank you for stopping by. Myari Meteor, thank you for stopping by. Appreciate that. I think there was an inside military connection with Flynn's brother as well. And I'm in a conspiracy mood. I don't know. I don't know on that one. Was streaming that day live. Yes, I was. Yes, follow, subscribe to YouTube's. Thank you, Michael Hassler. I appreciate it. All right, folks, I got to get out of here. Folks, if you enjoy the content, don't forget to hit the follow button. It really does help us out. And if you want to go a step and beyond, like Michael Hassler posted there, head on over to the YouTube channel and subscribe. It really does help us out. 243 of you have already done so. I appreciate that. As always, folks, we'll be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one about 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you, Michael Hassler. Thank you, Heat, for keeping it cool in the chat. Thank you for the subscriptions, follows, and biddies. Thank you. Appreciate it. See ya. All right, folks, hang tight. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See ya.